Hey, what's up YouTube, and welcome to another Midas Guild Ball match report. This time I'm playing against Sean's Navigators, Windfinder, Wander, Fathom, Azimuth, Ebb, and Horizon. I'm taking Midas, Nausea, Vitriol, Catalyst, Mercury, and Venom. I don't know why I put Venom there, but hey, deal with it. Navigator keys to victory, 3-0 team. Keep constant goal pressure, Azimuth knocking everyone down in the middle. And make sure to go with the value clears and heals. The Alchemists, I'm playing a hard 2-2. Gonna try to score goals and kill people. Keep that condition pressure up for the takeouts, and then trying to stay on the goals first. So anyways, it looks like I've already kicked off with Crucible, and Sean is gonna sprint up with Wander, snatch that ball, and then kick back to Fathom. So I think he could have done this a little bit differently. I don't know that I would have kicked to Fathom right away, because that you want a second or third pass, you know, kind of play down the line. But I did kick towards Fathom. That's normally what I want to do, because I know that that's his best shot at a first turn goal. Meanwhile, I'm just going to take some poison with Venom and jog up. Sean is working out what he wants to do next. Still working on that receive protocol. Here comes Horizon. So I was surprised that he dropped Horizon instead of Angel, but he was just playing his box 6, and I'm playing a hard 2-2 Midas list. Just measuring things out with Vitriol to see if I have a goal run. I don't yet. So I'm going to go ahead and go with Midas, and I'm going to lure a couple of targets up. I'm going to lure Sneck and Ocat. So I do have Mercury back there with influence on him, but I do have a plan here. So here comes Windfinder. It looks like he sees that I'm all in, and Sean does something interesting here. I was not expecting him to do this, and it's actually kind of a cool move. He's thinking about it. You can see. It's like, well, you know, you can get a lot of value with so many of my players up the board here. He could get a really valuable legendary here, and so that's what he's going to do. He's going to sprint up towards the middle of the board there, make sure he's within 6 of a bunch of my guys, and then he's going to go ahead and declare his legendary play. So legendary play is going to kick off. You'll see some dodges here in a second. Check out my value graphics. Yes, there goes Horizon taking a 4-inch dodge up the pitch. He's going to dodge up Wander, trying to figure out where he wants to go with Wander. Azimuth is just going to go straight up. We know he's going to try to control that center obstacle there. And there goes Wander. And then he's thinking about taking one with Windfinder. And he just kind of leaves it there while he dodges up Fathom. And so it's a cool move. It's a value move to get all of his guys in position. But what it does do is it exposes Fathom to my goal pressure. So I'm going to go with Sneck. It looks like I'm gonna just land. I'm gonna land a Hypnosis by attacking Horizon and throw that onto Azimuth. That's a nice little value play there, and then do some damage and poison to Horizon. So Sean could take a goal right now, but I think he's trying to figure out what is a better move. He's going to go in with Azimuth. Now that I pulled poison off Venom, he's going to start throwing those dreaded netteds around. And that is just awful, awful stuff. And so he knocks down Ocat with that. And as he only had 2 on him, he had to spend the extra on Hypnosis. So that's pretty rough. So Ocat had a couple on him, and now he's knocked down in fire. So I've got to figure out how to deal. At this point, I'm going to go ahead and take my goal run with Vitriol. Free charge by pulling the fire off Ocat into Fathom. Sean is going to counter. So it looks like, if I recall correctly, I'm going to go ahead and do a momentous push dodge, get him out of cover and a little bit closer to me. Sean is going to do 1 damage back. He thought I was going to tackle on that first one, and I may have had I only had 1 success. I'll tackle on the second attack here. And then I'm going to take a couple of other attacks. I think I get a momentous push dodge. I think about doing my heroic to put people on fire, and I think I end up doing that because that's a nice little value. Just put a couple of people on fire, kick a goal, and I kick a goal. Well, I'm going to kick the goal at a penalty here and put myself up 4-0. So nice little start there, but still plenty of influence left on Fathom for the snapback. I actually dodged back I just stayed in there with her. So Sean's figuring out his goal trajectory. Obviously this is Fathom. He doesn't have any momentum, but it doesn't matter because he's just going to I think he's gonna acrobatics forward, right? Then he's going to charge the knockdown OCAT, exploit that 2-1. And this is a nice little charge here. He also, Windfinder had put the +2/+2 move on her, which is going to help get her into goal range immediately. So here's the charge. You can see super hot dice. Look at that. You'll see Sean has hot dice all game. There's very little, there's like no failures, very little chance for, or opportunities for rerolls, because he doesn't need them. So he's gonna get 3 inches worth of dodge essentially off of OCAT and knock in the goal there, tying up the game. And then he's gonna dodge kind of towards the other side of the board, put up a little snapshot turret for himself. Meanwhile, I'm gonna throw this ball in, and I actually do have snapshot potential here if I chose to sprint up with Mercury. Oh, I'm sorry. It looks like the ball is gonna snap onto the bird, and I could actually charge that bird, but I do something maybe a little. I start to get a little greedy here, and I start making big mistakes against Navigators. Anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and charge Fathom. Fathom is, I believe, she counters. I want to say. I think she's gonna counter. Yeah, she counters. I land that momentous fire blast there, putting her on fire, 2 damage, and she does 1 damage back on the counterattack. So we're gonna see a lot of counterattacks from Sean, and they're again, his dice are on fire, so they're good rolls, but they may not be the best decision at the time. Looks like Ebb is just going to jog up and throw Sprung a Leak on a couple of field players up the board, OCAT and Venom, and just end it there. So you can see he's spending a lot of momentum, and meanwhile I clear with OCAT, run through my own Fire Blast to get the burning back on myself. That's a cool little trick, and it's the reason why I like to run Mercury with OCAT, so that I can actually fuel himself after somebody else pulls the burning off of him, or in that case knocked him down. So it's a nice little way to recover, is you just throw Mercury at somebody and make sure to leave an AoE for OCAT to run into. Anyways, he goes ahead, goes into Fathom, knocks her down, does a little bit of damage there, and that's the end of the turn. So I'm sitting on a big stack of momentum. The ball is there on Wander, and I have fantastic goal position, right? I've got a player on fire there that's close enough for Vitriol to pull for a free sprint. I have Midas very well into position. I've got a knockdown Fathom there who's sitting on 6 health, I believe, after OCAT went into her. And here's where we start doing dumb things, okay? So buckle your seatbelt. Here's gonna be a little clinic on how not to get cocky and do dumb things. I had hard committed to a 2-2 game plan, and so my thought was, well, I already have a goal. Sean has a goal. Let's start taking some players out and start getting my activation order. So I'm gonna start with Mercury, and Mercury is gonna go straight into Horizon to start throwing damage on. So he's lobbing the fireballs at the knockdown Fathom. I get 2 fireballs off on her, leaving her on 2. Then I take a fire blast, and instead of just finishing off Fathom like a normal person would, I throw it up the board there, put more people on fire. I don't know why the screen blacked out. That's how sad it was. And then on that last roll, which I bonus timed, get the final fire blast to kill Fathom, I fail. And I fail that pretty miserably. And Sean does what anybody sane would do, which is just he had 2 on the bird, which I probably should have just stopped, but bird goes in, flies in, and kicks a 1-die goal with a reroll, hits the goal. So now I'm down 4-8, and this is scary. I usually put other players in this position when I'm the goal-scoring team, but now I've got to play, and I'm going to go ahead and go with Midas and Legendary right there. And I got to try to get rid of this ball, because if I snap back score, obviously, then Sean just puts it back upfield and wins the game. So one false move here, and I'm in trouble. And again, this is just me being dumb, not taking care of the ball. I had 2 players that could have easily taken the ball and scored. Last turn, I actually had a snapshot turret in place. Didn't go for that. So I'm just not doing wise things, folks. It's just not pretty. So I'm going to go ahead with Midas. He's going to Legendary. He's going to start bouncing off people. I think I bounce off of, it looks like Windfinder and then Ebb. I push Ebb into the fire. Kick the ball over to Vitriol. And then dodge. Yeah. One more reposition and then dodge Vitriol off to the side there. So I put the ball in about the safest spot as I could find. But we'll see that Navigators can really stay tenacious on this ball. So Sean is going to go with Windfinder. She's going to put the +2/+2 move on herself. Now you see I purposely put myself around that obstacle so that he couldn't charge over the obstacle, because charging would have been the death knell. So now what he has to do is sprint over there and tackle the ball. And so this is mistake number 2 on my part. Let's let Sean figure out this move first, and then I'll explain it. So Sean sprints 10 over there. I give him some cover for free. Then he takes an attack. He tackles the ball, but that's it. He can't do anything. That was her 4 influence. Oh, I'm sorry. He does I Spy. That's actually a pretty good move, because then it knocks the ball out of bounds and then off the center of the board, but then scatters towards his goal. And so that's an almost dead ball, except Ebb has a bunch of influence, and so does Azimuth. Meanwhile, I've got to go with OCAT and clean up this mess back here. So it looks like OCAT is going to roll miserably on a 2 health knockdown Fathom, and I actually have to spend both of my... Oh wait, sorry. I'm going with... trying to figure out what I'm doing. Vitriol cannot get to that ball. So again, this is me just being cocky and overconfident, and my dice going, no, you don't get to do normal things. I do actually spend both of his influence killing Fathom, taking me to 6 to the Navigators 8, and then I walk into Azimuth there, try to add another crowd out. So Sean is going to go with, it looks like Azimuth, and this is where things are gross. Azimuth can just absolutely own a bunch of players. He's forced to roll 3 dice, but with his rerolls, he can get, he's rolling 4 dice. He can start knocking down players and dodging with that ridiculous netted ability. So he knocks down the Snick. He knocks down, I believe, Venom. And he could, at this point, he could just walk. Well, no, I think he has to get rid of OCAT and knock down OCAT, and then he could have gone for the ball, but I think he just stays put. Meanwhile, I go with Venom. Venom is going to do a couple of attacks on Ebb. And he does a little bit of damage to Ebb, and then he does his, with some of that momentum, he's going to go ahead and do his heroic, doing 3 damage to Azimuth and 2 to Ebb because of Ebb's ability where he only takes 2 damage. So I've got a good little pile of momentum going. Meanwhile, I think this is Ebb going back on Venom. He's going to throw Sprung a Leak back there. I don't know that I agree with that. I think Ebb should really just be single target damaging Venom there, trying to get more out of Venom. Maybe the sprung a leak on him and then work your way back into him again. Ebb is then going to dodge out of Venom, and he's going to pick up the ball, I believe. I'm going to dodge again. And I think he has to clear fire. Then he jogs up the board, passes the ball to Horizon, who is double engaged. Fails that with the reroll. That's asking a little much. You need a 6 to hit that. He didn't get it. So pushing those Navigators rerolls maybe a little bit harder than you need to. It's safe. I don't know that there's a safe spot except maybe to just keep them on the deep side of the board, so to maybe pass back into Fathom as she comes back in. So I'm figuring out, okay, now I got to get this ball out of my backfield, because Horizon can just dodge out and score a goal. So I do one attack with the snake, then I'm going to jog back. I believe it's like 2 to pick up snap the ball, and then continue my jog 4 up and try to get within cover, and just make this very hard for Horizon, who can just dodge to me. So if he can dodge to me, let's at least, give myself a chance to move out of the or counter and move out of the way. I probably should have just dodged up into cover there. So he's gonna jog around. We like, hey, don't leave a melee, just hang out and then dodge out. So then he dodges into this neck. But he only has, I believe he only has 1 attack here, so I'm not sure. He's just going to tackle the ball. I'm going to go ahead and counter, tackle the ball back. Oh, he must have had, he had 2 on him, so yeah. And then he tackles the ball again. So this is a good counter on my part. You can see, though, I'm out of momentum. I've had to do all of that just to keep the ball out of play. So the ball is back on Horizon, but it's not going anywhere. I'm going to go ahead and make a couple of attacks on Windfinder. Just try to score a little bit of momentum here, and I managed to get 1 momentum going into the next turn. So it's 1-1 on the momentum. We both play our 7s, because if I don't play my 7, this is game. I win the dice off, so hey, he doesn't get to re-roll that one. So you can't win them all. You can't win them all, even though you're re-rolling dice all game. So I'm going to get initiative there. I dodge Midas into the play. He's going to dodge Horizon. Oh, I'm sorry, I dodge Vitriol actually into the play. He's going to dodge Horizon towards my goal. And then we're going to go ahead and start the turn. So he dodges towards my goal. Again, maybe the safer thing would have been to put Horizon in cover on the other side, not so close to Mercury there. So anyways, we're about to get started. This is again, so I've made some major blunders here, and by all accounts I should have lost this game already, but I managed to keep the ball just ever so slightly in play, but out of my goal as long as possible. A very hungry Fathom there on the bottom of the screen, getting 3 influence, coming back in. And he's got a few on Horizon there, puts a couple on the bird. I forgot to mention that, well, let's just see what we see. So I go into Fathom with Mercury. Managed to land, by the way, Horizon's on 4 health, so I do 2 damage to him with a fireball. He counters, again with rerolls, he hits them all, manages a double dodge out, right? So I had 3 left on me. This is kind of bad. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lob a Fire Blast on Horizon, kill Horizon, putting me to 7 to 8. The ball's gonna scatter, and it looks like it bounces. It looks like it bounces to me. That was a really lucky scatter. And then Mercury kicks the ball off to the snake, and the snake dodges up. So the ball is kind of safe. Here comes, it looks like Azimuth is about to do his thing again, continue on knocking down the entire middle of the board. Now here's another thing that could have happened. I think he has a dodge attached to this, so he could have been knocking people down, dodging towards that ball, and he probably could have picked up that ball at some point. But he is landing the non-momentous version of his knockdown, if I recall correctly. So he's not gaining momentum either. So we're in a very momentum-starved situation. He knocks the snake down with netted. Ball, the ball scatters back there towards the seagull. And so Azimuth is gonna walk around, but he can't clear. So he has like a 3-inch jog right now. So he cannot physically get to that ball. Meanwhile, it looks like I'm gonna go with the snake, and here's where I feel like I should be safe. So I clear with the snake, get up, snap the ball, and I'm half tempted to drop it, but not with Windfinder that close. So I'm gonna sit and cover 2-inch unpredictable, defense 5, right? I should be entirely safe. In fact, according to the rules, I should be entirely safe. However, Sean, he goes with the seagull, and he thinks he can use guide on himself to get it to dodge into base with me. I looked this up later, and yes, you can use dodge on yourself, but as you cannot decrease the distance to yourself, you cannot actually move anywhere. So he kind of uses it as a where'd they go. And he tries to tackle the ball. I don't believe he was successful in tackling the ball. So the ball is just there on the snake. Meanwhile, I'm coming in with Venom, and I'm going to do some damage here to Ebb, who is also low on health. And I could have done this a little more optimally. I could have punched Ebb, heroic killed Ebb, and then punched Azimuth. But anyways, I take Ebb out, taking me to 9-8. Sean is trying to figure out, can he get there with Windfinder? And he can. So he gives himself 2 and then charges, and then he sprints over there. I unpredictable out of the way, and then he does his I Spy, and of course hits a 5 on 2 dice, knocks the ball loose. Ball goes back to Mercury. So that, no matter, just absolutely tenacious on the ball, and the fact that the Navigators can reliably put down 4 knockdowns a turn is fairly disgusting. Anyway, I'm working on the middle of the board here because I actually have a fairly low Azimuth, and that ball is about as dead as it's going to be for the rest of the turn. Azimuth is going to spend a bunch of... he's going to continue to counterattack while I wear him down. Fathom is going to come in. She's going to acrobatics off of that and then charge in. Funny thing is, like, if she actually had 4 on her, she could have made it to the ball. I don't know that she would have had enough to tackle the ball, but she could have made it to the ball, which is pretty nuts. Anyways, she gets in there and just provides another crowd out. I think she does a damage, but it's not very meaningful. Meanwhile, Vitriol is going to come in, charge, and this is where I actually do end up doing well on the dice. His counter, I think, knocks her down. She gets back up, does another 3 damage to him. And so all I have left, so he's on 2 health, and I still have 3 on OCAT. OCAT's gonna basically take him out on the first roll, and I get to 11, and the store is gonna close. So this game should be over. And you see we're packing up. It's 11-8. We were both clocked out at this point, so there were multiple paths for me to win. I had 2 left. I probably could have at least knocked down Fathom with the next couple of attacks. But anyways, we're gonna call it here as the store is closing, and yeah, it's pretty much a done deal here. So interesting game. Never fall asleep on the ball, and take your 2 goals before your 2 takeouts, Alchemist players. So that's gonna do it for this video. I want to thank everyone for watching. Have a good one, and we'll catch you on the next one. Thanks.